For your next assignment, you will be creating a clay creature. Your objective for this assignment is to learn basic hand building techniques by creating a sculpture. First, you'll make some sketches of what you'd like to do. And in this case, I've sketched out some different ideas for fish. So I'm going to gather my materials. I'll need a plastic bag, a ball of clay, a container for water, and a paper clip. And I might also want to have a wet paper towel to clean my hands as I work. And definitely newspaper to cover my table so that the classroom stays very clean. We do have a few students that have allergies to clay, so we really need to be careful about this. First, I'm going to make a pinch pot. And as you can see, I started with a ball of clay, pushed my thumb into the center, and I'm beginning to pinch around to create my pinch pot shape. And as I get my pinch pot formed, I want to make sure the walls are thin and even, no air bubbles are present, and I want to just get that shape as perfect as I can. I want to smooth out any cracks or imperfections. Here I have an extra bit of clay that I put aside, and I'm going to use that to create the features for my creature. So I'm going to start off by creating a tail fin for my fish, and I'll just shape it the way that I want it. And once I get it shaped the way I think I need it to be, I'm going to check the size relationship and see if it looks like the shape and size that I would like. And it looks pretty good, so now I'm just going to attach it, and I want to have more of a surface area to attach it with, so I'm going to use my paper clip tool, just bend it a little, and now I'm just going to cut a part of it off. There we go, that looks better, and I'll just attach it to the back. Now some students make a mistake of just pressing it to the back of their project, and that doesn't really work. I'm going to flatten one edge of my pinch pot so that it sits nicely on the table. I don't want it to roll around. And then I'm going to attach it using a technique called slipping and scoring. And so I'm just going to add some score marks with my paper clip. And I need to do that to both surfaces that I'm attaching together. So I'll do it to my tail fin as well. That looks pretty good. So now I'm going to add water to both of the surfaces just to create some slip, which is like muddy clay. And once I have that done, I'll attach my tail. I can't just set it on there. I have to kind of press and wiggle it a little bit to get the clay particles to grab together. And now you can see that it's pretty sturdy. It's kind of grabbed onto that other surface. And so it's going to stay pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and smooth out the area around it to make sure that it is well attached. And just adjust any little minor imperfections as you go. So now I'm going to add the eyes. And again, I can't just leave them on there like that. I have to attach them using the slipping and scoring technique. So slip and score those areas, and then attach the eyes. And as I'm creating my eyes, I could just leave them the way they are, but I want them to be a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to add an eyelid as well, just for a little extra detail. As I'm attaching my different pieces, I want to make sure that I don't attach any pieces that are too thick. I don't want my clay to be more than about 1/4 of an inch thick, 1/2 inch max. So keep that in mind as you're building your project. And I'm just attaching that using the same technique I showed you before, blending it into the surface as I finish the slipping and scoring. And I'll do the other eye, and then I'm ready to take a look at it. That looks pretty good. I think next I will go ahead and start attaching some extra details. So here I'm going to attach a little tooth inside of his mouth. I decided just to put one. So there's one tooth. And now I'm going to add the fins. So as I attach that, I don't want to leave it just plain and a smooth surface. I want to give that a little bit of extra detail. So I think I'm going to take my paper clip tool and just add some texture lines to it, just to make it a little bit more interesting. And that looks a lot better than just a smooth surface. So I'm going to do that to my tail as well. Just like that. Here, I'll show you how I did that if you couldn't see. And now I think I'm going to label the bottom of it with my name. And now that I'm ready to finish up with class here, I'm going to put it away. So I don't want to just leave it sitting out. I don't want to leave it where other people can mess with it or where it's going to dry out. So I think I'll put it in a plastic bag. And luckily for me, I stayed at my seat. I didn't wander around with my clay, so I only have one little area to clean up. So I'm just going to close my plastic bag and twist the top of it so no air can get to my clay project. And when I put it away, I'm going to put the weight of my clay on the tail of the bag so that it doesn't dry out. The bag won't come open. Now I'm going to put away my supplies, my water container. I'm going to save my paper clip so that I can use it next time. And then I'm just going to carefully fold up that newspaper. Remember, this is the only place I've had my clay. I didn't put it anywhere else, just on the newspaper. And I'm going to fold it up carefully so all the dust and crumbs stay inside the paper and throw it away. Wipe off my table if it needs it. And I'm ready to go to my next class.